I love it. Some nice big fish in here. Beautiful setting. Oh, a little bitter. Here he is. Are you the man who 30 years ago built his own pond?
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that. Where are we at? Where are we located, Mike?
Wanneroo.
Wanneroo. All right, let's check out another beautiful... That's the area. Wanneroo. Check out another beautiful Aquascape ecosystem water feature. I'm the pond guy, Greg.
G'day, Greg. Mark, how are you?
Mark, nice to meet you. When do they get right?
Oh, they get right there. You should ever try an olive?
Out here?
Try an olive.
Okay.
Just gotta eat it, yeah. It's really...
A little bitter. Okay, I'll get you. I'll remember that. But he's been feeding me stuff the whole time.
You should have known better.
So, Tony, you built this young man a rebuild of a pond that he built 30 years ago, I heard. So what's the story there?
They had a big tulip tree fall over in a storm mid last year and punctured the liner and damaged the decks and did all kinds of damage to it.
So you had the pond for 30 years, a tree knocked it out, and you found Tony to rebuild it.
Pretty much. That's it.
Wow, this is beautiful. Oh, this is so fun. Beautiful dogs and a beautiful garden. Oh, wow. I'm the pond guy, Greg.
Hello, Greg. Nice to meet you. I'm Deb.
Deb and Mark. Okay. Oh, wow. I love it. Some nice big fish in here. Look at this. This is the biggest koi that I've seen since I've been down here. What a beautiful setting. Oh, so they had a big pond.
Yeah.
Hi, Pooch. Hi. How are you? So a lot of these fish, Deb, you've had for a long time, huh?
We have, yeah. They've been sort of on this property for, I don't know, 20, 25 years, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but they're now...
So compare and contrast. So a tree over here fell into this pond that you built, so you had to rebuild it. But I was told that it's about the same size that it was before.
Yeah.
So what is different about this pond versus the old pond?
Well, the old pond was a liner, complete liner with no sort of rock work.
Okay,
so
no gravel on top, traditional.
So you still saw all the liner. So this pond is, I guess, much more aesthetically beautiful in that there's lots of rock and yeah, it's all covered. Lovely. And the filtration is superior. So it's nice and clean. It stays lovely and clean and fresh for us to swim in as well as the...
Oh, you get in here, huh?
We do.
Oh, that's
We have a plunge in the deep zone there.
So what about the maintenance? Compare and contrast the maintenance on this pond versus the old pond.
Yeah, minimal maintenance on this one compared to the other one. Our filtration system was more intense. It consisted of a lot of plants. We probably had about 16 metres of filtration system, which was naturally filtered by plants.
Like a slew the water flow through.
Yeah. Compared to now where we've got the...
Or you have a wetland filter up here.
So the maintenance on it is virtually zero, apart from the skimmer box that we clean
empty
out regularly.
From the leaves
that get in it.
So it was only finished at the end of, well, beginning of February, about the 9th of February or something like that.
Okay.
So it's incredibly new and still finding its feet, and we're still planting, it's re-establishing from what it was before.
Sure. Well, it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, we know you too. You love fish food, but you're not eating it.
Oh, are you serious? They love to eat the fish food, huh?
They do love to eat the fish food.
Is this what, a frog?
Yeah.
An indigenous frog?
I don't know what kind of frog is it, Deb?
Probably a,
Looks like a spring. Up. Good catch.
I don't know what's
Like a leopard frog.
We're visiting Deb and Mark's pond here in Wanneroo. This pond is a rebuild of a pond. Deb and Mark actually built a pond almost exactly the same size as this themselves nearly 30 years ago. Sadly, in a big storm last year, a tulip tree fell down into the pond from over there behind where the sun is and fell into the pond. So yeah, it was a big tree. You can see if it's fallen that far. Damaged the liner, damaged the deck, and we needed to build a new home for these lovely koi. See how many there are in here. Pulled them out. I think we got to 75 fish that we pulled out of this pond to rehome temporarily while we rebuilt their new pond. So their previous pond was a liner pond. It had rock around the top edge, but otherwise it was a bare liner pond, and they had a lot of water lilies. A lot of water lilies. It was some places it was almost fully choked up with water lily. So when we were getting the fish out, it was quite interesting at times, having to hunt down through the stems of the water lilies to actually catch them and get them out. So then we had to dig the whole pond out, and we had to reshape it because it was built as a bowl, as most typical ponds are. Generally that's the way people build ponds, is they build them in a bowl shape with angled sides. But building in the Aquascape ecosystem way, we generally build with shelves, and we retain those shelves with rock, and then backfill the flat terraces with river pebble gravel. So it gives us a lot of shape, as you can see here through the deep zone. We've got a deep zone through the middle of this one that's about 1.2 metres deep. So the owners do hop in here from time to time, especially when it's a bit warm, and have a bit of a swim around with their fish, which is awesome. So we changed it into an Aquascape pond. Previously they had a Japanese system of filter mats for the pond, and we've rebuilt it with an Aquascape wetland filter, upflow constructed wetland filter, which is what we're looking at right here. So this has been planted up with all kinds of interesting plants that we know just really work really well in a wetland filter. They work hard for nutrients. So there's irises in here, there's marshwort, there's one of our all-time favourites, Nymphoides geminata, which is the leafy one in the middle. It's got a leaf a lot like a dwarf water lily, and it gets a beautiful yellow feather flower on it. Also got some taro, quite a few really nice plants in there, and all of them work really well in a wetland filter. There's a bit of string algae in there, like you can see on the surface, and that's what's supposed to be there. So this is a pretty new pond. It's only about 2.5 months old since we finished it in early February, and the wetland filter is actually the nutrient sink for the system. So this is where all the nutrients gather. So it's perfectly normal to have string algae in the wetland filter, and it's really a great spot for it to be. It shows the system's doing what it's supposed to do and capturing the nutrients. Can physically remove it if you don't like it, but I don't think there's any reason to. It's still doing a job on its own. It's nature's response to excess nutrients in the water, which is really common with a brand new pond. We were lucky enough here, the owner's lock extends right out the back there. You can see the back fence here where they've got their chicken pen. They grow a lot of food and produce here themselves. They've got chickens, so they collect a lot of eggs. They've even got roosters, as you can hear over there. So their property extends back another 150-200 metres, and back there's an area that was cleared in the 1960s, where a lot of the trees were all pushed up together and burnt. So there were lots of pieces left behind, like this great big gnarled tree stump here that's both weathered and burnt. So we used that in the waterfall to get a bit of character and a bit of shape into the waterfall and make it a bit interesting and relate it back to the land. We found a lot of other logs here too, like this one here, that buries down, the end's just poking up out of the water here, and the big end of it sits down into the water. So we always try to do that. It adds a natural touch, makes it look more natural, and it also adds some more diversity to the water itself, and diversity is the key to these systems. That's one of the reasons why they work so well. The diversity of rocks and the gravel and the different sizes of all those things encourage all sorts of different bacteria and microorganisms to grow. Tell us about the dig on this one, Michael. You had to clear this out. There was an old pond here when you started, wasn't there, with liner and geofabric?
Yeah, with PVC liner, we've got a geo.
How did you find clearing that out and digging it out?
It wasn't too bad, just try to separate from the sand and then reshape the hole a little bit, get some depth, and create our shelves.
So what depth is this pond?
We've got 0.5 around this lower section here and up against the formal edge, and then we've got a deep section about 1.1.
Nice. Deep enough to get into and have a little dip and a swim around on a hot day?
Yeah.
A little splash with the fish, with the koi. How many koi are in here?
Was it 50?
I think we pulled out something like 50 as we counted them out. So we saved, when we first came here, the pond had water in it still. It was losing water on a continual basis though. After the tree had fallen into it, there were a lot of leaks. So
I want to hear what the filter system is that you innovated 30 years ago, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It comprised of a 15 by 15 box in the corner here,
Which is what used to be right here.
full of jap mats, and water, one pump would go through there, so 25,000 litres would go through that, and then gravity feed back through a waterfall into the pond, and then the rest of the filtration was for the width of the shed.
So right now this is the only thing that is remaining is a little plant nursery right here. But this is kind of what it looked like, but it went all the way down to the side, huh?
This was the rest of the filtration system there, so water, another 25,000 litre pump would pump water through there, up, and then come back down, and then gravity feed back into the pond. again.
Right. So this is a little easier. Yeah, but you made it work.
Yeah.
Good job, mate. Okay, so these are the good kind, not the kind that Patrick gives me. Oh my gosh.
Giant Kalamata olive fence
Holy
ones.
cow.
Brined at home. They're beautiful.
Oh, that is great. Right next to an Aquascape ecosystem pond. Much better than what Patrick did for me.
I was just telling you, giving you the, now you can now you know.
Oh, the difference.
The difference. I do it to everyone at my place. You know, when I taste this is what I taste like. This is what you got to do to them to get them to stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about how they worked it out. It must have been an olive falling off a tree, going into the ocean, falling into a little puddle on the ocean there, and someone just found it later. So that tastes good.